A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to A&B Exam Forum. In today's session, we are going to see one more paper from SSC CGL, and today we are going to see a paper that was held on 3rd March 2023, and this is basically for SSC CGL Tier 2 for year 2022. Okay. Before proceeding, I would like to show that we have already made various videos starting from theory section to the practice session. Okay, this is in our playlist. You can just watch them and get benefited from them. So before proceeding, as usual, we are going to see the topic wise distribution for this particular paper, that is 3rd March 2023. You can see 9 questions were asked from the computer basics. So this topic itself you will get 10 questions. Okay, so this is very important topic for your upcoming exam. And the next one is this from software topic, where you will get 4 questions from Word, Excel, PowerPoint and OS. The next one is working with internet and email, where you will have 2 questions. And from basic of networking and cybersecurity, you have 5 questions. Okay, so we have seen a basic trend that most of the questions will ask from this particular chapter. Commonly 9 to 10 questions or 8 to 10 questions were asked from computer basics. From software, we have seen 4 to 5 questions. From working with internet and email, we have seen 2 to 4 questions, whereas from networking and security, we have seen 3 to 5 questions from this particular chapter itself. Okay, so as you can see the trend that this section is very important. You need to learn various basic concepts related to the computer. Okay, we have made already theory session. You can just see those video and get benefited. So the first question is on your screen. The question says some cookies are automatically created after deletion. These are called what? Okay, so this is from the chapter called web browser. Okay, and as you know, web browser is used for browsing the internet or browsing the websites, and generally a website uses small files, or it will create some files known as cookie. These small files are called cookies. Okay, and these files have their own purpose. Okay, generally used to have preference and storing some temporary information, but sometimes this can be used for some malicious activity. Okay, so we have seen all such pointers in our web browser chapter. Okay, web browser chapter, where we have discussed everything about cookies. Okay, so if you see, there are different type of cookies that I'm not going to discuss now. You can watch that particular video and get to know what are these types. So as you can see, zombie cookies are basically those cookies which are automatically created after deletion. Basically their purpose is to track the users. Okay, so there are other types also, like session cookie, persistent cookie, first party, third party cookie, that we have discussed in that particular chapter. Okay, so the answer for this question, those who have given zombie, they are right. It is zombie cookie which are recreated after deletion. Okay, so the next question is, which device is also known as visual display unit? Okay, VDU. Visual display unit is basically an output device. So it comes from the computer basic, from the chapter input output devices. And as you know, scanner is an input device, so you can ignore. Trackball is again an input device, so you can eliminate this. So you have option with printer and monitor. So it is a visual display. Again, both are going to have a output, but this is not a visual display. It is a physical display, whereas monitor is a visual display. Okay, so in that way you can answer your question. Okay, this is the monitor. So very simple one, monitor is also known as VDU. And so in the chapter input output devices, we have seen all such pointers. Okay, again I'm not going to repeat all those pointers, this will become a long video in that case. Okay, coming to the next question, in web browser what is responsible for displaying web pages? Okay, so as you know, web browser is used for surfing the internet and main purpose is to display the web pages. Okay, so let's see the option one by one. So server, as you know, it is going to host a website which contain all the web pages, so it is not the correct answer. Whereas rendering engine, yes, whenever you see the word rendering means it is related to display. Okay, whenever you see this word now, rendering, it is means it is displaying. Okay, so this displaying engine will display the web pages. Okay, it is going to interpret basically the HTML language. Okay, it is going to interpret the HTML language. For example, if my web page has this kind of syntax that is used for making the text bold, this rendering image will convert this HTML tags to that particular display format. Okay, this page engine and search engine are used to search with the help of keywords, so you can eliminate. So option 2 is the right answer. Coming to the next is, which port is known as line printer port? Again, it is from the input output device, more specifically to the chapter ports. Okay, for that purpose we have made a separate session on ports. Okay, where we have discussed all the kind of ports which are asked in the competitive examination. So line printer port or printer port, as you know, it is the parallel port which is known as line printer port. Okay, why line printer port? Because in the older days this parallel port is used to connect to the printer, that's why it is known as printer port. Okay, and as I told you earlier that in our port session we have discussed all the pointer related to each and every port. Okay, and one more good pointer is that it is 25 pin connector, that you should remember. Okay, sometime he asks the number of holes in the parallel port, so it is 25. Okay, coming to the next, dash virus are embedded in memory so that it can reactivate after deletion. Okay, whenever like you are having something which is done automatically and doing some malicious activity, they are known as malware. Okay, and in the malware session we have discussed all the type of viruses and the malwares. Okay, and as you know, these all are different type of virus. This is a file virus which is basically attached to a file, and once that file is executed, it is going to do a lot of malicious activity. Okay, so this is not the virus which is embedded in memory. Okay, it is the resident memory. It is basically residing in your main memory, and even though if you delete it, it will reactivate because it is placing in the memory. Okay, and polymorphic and rootkit, these are some other type of virus. Okay, so option 2, those who have given, they are right. And all such pointers we have seen in the malware chapter. As you can see, the resident virus is basically which resides in the computer memory, and it will recreate itself after being executed. Okay, once it is executed, it will place or it will be hide in some part of the memory, and it is going to do harm your computer. Okay, the next question is, which among of the following statements is incorrect about the secondary memory? It is again from the memory chapter, and the question option says it is known as backup memory. Okay, it is known as backup memory. Yes, it is known as a backup memory, so it is true. Data is permanently stored off even it is powered off. Yes, it is non-volatile, so it is true. Computer may run without secondary memory. Yes, it is also true. Okay, computer does not require main memory. It is the primary memory which a computer requires. Okay, so this is the incorrect statement. As you know, it is a non-volatile memory which says data is permanently stored even it is powered off. So it is incorrect statement. Okay, so this statement is incorrect. So the correct answer is option 4. It's a volatile memory. Let's see the next question. Dash memory is used to increase the speed of processing by making computer program data available rapidly. Okay, so you can see all these are different type of memory. So backup, as you know, it is a persistent memory, that is non-volatile memory. Again, auxiliary is a non-volatile, so you can simply eliminate because they will decrease the speed of accessing. So you are left with main and cache memory, and the closer to the CPU, the more will be the speed. And as you know, CPU is interacting with the main memory, but in between there is one more memory called cache memory. Okay, so cache memory is a temporary memory which increase the speed of your program. So option 4 is the right answer. Coming to the next question, which of the following statement is incorrect about quick access toolbar? Okay, so as I told you many times, quick access toolbar is the toolbar which is located at the top left portion of your title bar. So that is known as quick access toolbar. And these are the 4 options. Which of the following is incorrect? Okay, so if you see, default has save, undo and redo. Okay, default has cut, undo and redo. Okay, you can place more buttons. Yes, we can place more button. No option to show below. Okay, so in that case you have option to Q and S is the correct answer. Q and S are incorrect. Default is not cut, undo, redo, and it is not placed below the ribbon option. Okay, so since S is incorrect, we are going to choose option 2. Dash is the oldest type of CPU. Okay, so a CPU has different core, so it starts with 1, so it is a single core. Okay, so single core is the oldest type of CPU. Nowadays it is quad core. Okay, you can, or multi-core. Nowadays multi-core is another concept which is coming into picture. Okay, so previously the oldest type is single core, whereas latest is multi-core CPUs. Okay, coming to the next, which of the following is a mathematics trigonometric function in Excel? Okay, as you know, ABS, that is absolute value. Okay, absolute value is one of the mathematical function. Okay, whereas logical, financial and text, these are nowhere related to mathematics. These are combination of mathematics which do certain higher end operation, but more specifically you will find ABS as mathematical function in Excel 365. Okay, and if you see the slide, there are different type of function and libraries, and in math and trigonometry you will have ABS. Okay, and like cos theta, sin theta, base, 8 and all such option are available in math and trigonometry. Okay, date and time will have date and time related function, whereas text is used to have different text operation. And lookup is like you want to match something from one cell to another based on some item. Logical and financial, as they itself suggest that they have some true and false values in it. Okay, let's see the next question. Which generation of computer uses the transistor? A very simple one, and everybody knows that first generation computer uses vacuum tube, whereas second generation use transistors. Okay, so option 2's, those who have given, they are right. And we have made the first video on generation of computer itself, where we discussed about the technology which were used in the generation of computer along with the previous year pointer which are generally asked in the exam. Okay, so it uses a transistor in second generator, and in third generation integrated circuits were used, in the fourth VLSI, and in fifth ULSI. Okay, in the next question, in Gmail, option to create a new mail, a very simple one. Nowadays everybody is using Gmail, so everybody know that it is compose. If you are computer savvy, you should answer this question. It is compose. Compose itself, the meaning says that you are going to create something. So from compose you can create a new mail. So again, we have made a video on web email. Okay, where we have discussed everything about the email, and one of the feature of the email is the mailbox, where we have discussed commonly asked terminology related to the mailbox. Okay, as you can see, compose is used to create and send new mail, and it has various options. Okay, in exam they can also ask the question related to CC, BCC, subject, body and attachments. Okay, and all such pointers we have covered in that video. I am again telling you that I am not going to repeat in this session. The next question says each cell in the MS Excel worksheet is identified by a cell. These are the four options. It is the reference. Yes, what is the reference? So you must have seen Excel sheet where it has rows and columns in it. So these are the rows which are named as alphabetically, and these are the rows. Okay, these are the columns, these are the row, and the intersection of rows and column is the cell which is identified by the reference. Suppose for this particular cell it is B2, B is the column, 2 is the row. Okay, so this is called reference. Coming to the next question, Dash is a dedicated file server storage providing LAN centralized storage via Ethernet. Okay, since it is connected to network, you can use directly 1:1 answer, network attached storage. Okay, so whenever a memory is attached to the network, it is called network attached storage. Okay, so option 4 is the right answer. Coming to the next question, which among the following is incorrect about Window Explorer navigation pane? Okay, so in the File Explorer or Window Explorer, you have one window where on the left side it is called the navigation pane. Okay, left side it is having navigation pane where you can go to any file or folder or any directory inside the computer. So right side is called navigation pane. Yes, this is incorrect, sir. So this is the correct answer. So it is the left window is called the navigation pane. Okay, so option 1, those who have given, they are right. So as you can see that this is basically a navigation pane. This is a main area, and these are some other pane like preview pane and detail pane which are going to come on the right side. Okay. Once Dash has infected many systems, it generate revenue via ads or pay per click. Okay, so in the malware chapter again we have discussed malware known as adware. Adware means advertising malware. Adware, the full form is advertisement plus malware. Okay, which is used to do the advertisement, and from that advertisement the third party will get the revenue. Okay, so those are known as adwares. Okay, so option 4 is the right answer. Coming to the next, shortcut to bookmark current web page. Okay, so Control N is used to create the new window, and control I in web browser, it is nothing, so you can ignore. Control B is not for bookmark. Okay, this is a confusing question. So control B, it is not bookmark, it is control D is used to make the bookmark. Okay, so people will confuse that it is B, so it should be B, but it is control D. Okay, so option 4 is the correct answer. And all such important shortcuts we have seen in our video on session web browser. Okay, so web browser we have seen different shortcut keys which are generally asked in the exam. Dash is also known as network protocol. In the networking device session we have seen there are different type of devices. These are some of the devices. And protocol converter, as you know, gateway is used to connect two different networks which uses the different protocol. Okay, suppose this is my one network, this is my another network, and I want to connect these two networks with some device. We required some gateway protocol. Since they are using different protocol, I am going to use gateway. If they are using the same protocol, in that case I am going to use a router. Okay, this is a primary difference between gateway and router. Okay, so the answer for this question is option 4. The next question, dash are the rules that exist at several level in telecom communication. Okay, so whenever you find the terminology rules, you just mark protocol. Okay, it is the protocol which defines the rule how to send the message and what should be the format. Okay, so whenever you find these rules, you just stick protocol. Okay, which font effect is not available in MS Word 2010 dialog box? Superscript, yes, superscript, as you know, if I want to make X square, so this is superscript. Small caps, as you know, if it is in capital letter, if I am using small cap, will become small letter. Double strike through, I am going to cut this, that is strike through. Equalize character height is not an option in the font dialog box, so this is not available. Therefore, this is the correct answer. So option 4 is the correct answer. So thank you. So we have seen 20 questions from this particular paper. And if you have anything to say, you can write in our comment box. We will be very happy to answer your questions. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.